If money touches your hands and you still feel fear, you have not yet claimed your dominion. If you receive your paycheck and speak words like, "It's not enough," "It's already gone," or "I wish it were more," you have unknowingly cursed your own supply. And I say unto you now, lack does not begin with low income, it begins with low speech. The minute you receive, the minute heaven opens its gate to fund your next assignment, what you say in that moment shapes what happens next. You can be paid in thousands and still feel poor. You can be blessed with increase and still bind it with your mouth. But hear me well, when you change your response to payment, you change your relationship to provision. The divine has already decreed that you are not to live hand to mouth, but spirit to overflow. But the only way to activate that decree is through the word. Not just any word, but the right word said at the right time, in the right spirit. So I ask you plainly, what do you say when you get paid? Do you sigh? Do you panic? Do you whisper the language of barely enough? Do you brace for bills, or do you open your hands in praise? Because every time money enters your field, heaven watches how you handle it. And the law responds not to your emotion, not to your gratitude journal, not to your hard work, but to your vibration. And nothing shifts vibration faster than a spoken word of truth. When you get paid, you're not just being compensated, you are being tested. You are standing at a gate of multiplication, and the passcode to open that gate is your mouth. So I give you this charge, this spiritual key, this decree that reorders your entire experience of wealth. Say this, not casually, not religiously, but with full dominion, every time you receive money. Every payment I receive is divine supply in motion. This multiplies under grace now. That's it. That is the hinge upon which lack turns to overflow. That is the valve that opens the floodgates. That is the tongue-tied lie of scarcity, severed and silenced forever. Do not speak this from anxiety. Do not chant it from fear. Speak it from knowing. Speak it as one who remembers who they are. Speak it not to make money appear, but because it already has. It is not begging, it is blessing. It is not superstition, it is law. And I promise you, if you say this every time money touches your hands, if you claim supply with your voice and not just your hopes, lack will leave your life like a servant dismissed by the king. This is not a trick. This is not a ritual. This is the highest metaphysical truth made simple. Say it at the ATM. Say it when the email hits. Say it when the alert buzzes your phone. Say it before you spend. Say it with breath. Say it with rhythm. Say it with power. You were not meant to live in dread. You were not designed to shrink every time a bill arrives. You were not created to chase crumbs while the storehouses of heaven remain full. You were born to receive with dignity. You were born to speak with authority. You were born to multiply what enters your field by the frequency of your word. And the law will never override your voice. It will wait until you speak what you wish to see. So speak wisely, speak richly, speak now. Money is not a thing, it is a flow. And every time it enters your life, whether through a paycheck, a gift, a refund, a deposit, it is not merely a transaction. It is a spiritual event. It is proof that divine circulation has not stopped moving. It is the echo of a higher source that never runs dry. But few recognize the holiness of that moment. They treat payment as a problem to solve, not a portal to pass through. And so they mishandle it. They forget the law that governs all increase. They forget that money obeys spiritual law, not emotional desperation. The law of circulation is very clear. What you receive with resistance, you repel. What you receive with fear, you bind. But what you receive with divine authority, you multiply. You may have thought the gate was your income. You may have thought the gate was your job, your invoice, your contract. But I say, the gate is your consciousness. The gate is your belief. And the gatekeeper is your mouth. Let me teach you what most forget. When you get paid, you are not just collecting earnings. You are entering the current of divine movement. Money is not a pile. It is a pulse. It is a current that flows toward your belief, toward your expectation, toward your vibration. This is why some earn more and still feel less. It is why some are paid often and still stay broke. because they never shift the consciousness that receives. They never stop and say, "This is holy. This is evidence of my connection to the infinite source." You do not receive money to survive. You receive it to multiply divine assignment. It is not given for scrambling, but for stewardship. And your stewardship begins with how you speak when it arrives. The moment payment is received, you stand at the mouth of the river. Will you bless it or block it? Will you honor it or shrink it? Will you increase it or delay it? This is where the law becomes visible, and this is where you must take your place, not as an earner, but as a priest of provision. You must bless the payment like bread before the multitude. You must speak not just thanks, but truth over it. Say, "This is not just a paycheck. This is divine proof that I am still connected to supply. This is not just money. This is the echo of God saying, I have not forgotten you." This is not a small thing. This is the sign that more is already on the way. Now let us anchor this in Scripture, not as dogma, but as metaphysical law. In Luke 6:38, it is written, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down and shaken together and running over." But hear this with new ears. The giving is not just about what you release, it is also about what you say. The moment you give thanks, you give energy. The moment you give a declaration, you give command. And the law responds. The running over does not begin with your wallet. It begins with your word. So now you understand. When payment enters your life, it's not just a financial event. It is the universe asking, how will you receive this? In fear or in faith? In silence or in speech? In apology or in authority? Speak right, and watch the gate swing open. It is a strange thing that a man or woman can ask for abundance in prayer and then slay that same abundance with their mouth the moment it arrives. You see, it is not the lack of income that binds most souls. It is the presence of self-cursing words at the gate of reception. People do not realize that every statement they make when money enters their hands is a spell, a decree, a contract. And most make those contracts with fear. They say, "It's not enough. It's already gone. Straight to bills. Now I'm broke again." And then they wonder why the overflow doesn't come. They wonder why more never stays. But I tell you, it is not because the law failed. It is because they broke the law with their own tongue. The law of divine supply cannot override your spoken resistance. For the moment you declare defeat, you instruct the universe to treat you accordingly. Imagine this with me. A woman receives her direct deposit, and before even feeling gratitude, she utters, "Well, most of that's already spoken for." Do you not see the subtle curse in those words? She has just told the law, "This is not mine to keep, to steward, or to multiply. It is already lost." And the law obeys. Or a man receives a payment and says aloud, "I still need way more than this." In that moment, he does not realize that his complaint has become a command. He has told the law, "This is not enough. Withhold the peace. Delay the overflow." And so it does. These statements may feel normal, they may even feel honest, but spiritual law does not respond to what you think is realistic. It responds to what you declare, and if your declaration at the gate of payment is one of stress, frustration, or lack, then the law has no choice but to mirror that back into your world. So I ask you now, what have you been saying? When the paycheck hits? When the invoice is paid? When the sale closes? When the gift arrives? Do you praise or panic? Do you bless or belittle? Do you shrink or stand up? Because your first words in that moment are the seed of your next financial season. You may not even notice how casually you speak lack. "I wish I made more." Why does it go so fast? What's the point? It's all gone by Friday. Each of these is a thread in the net that keeps you tied to the appearance of scarcity. And here is the divine correction. The moment you become aware of the pattern, you can end it. Not with guilt, not with penance, but with a new word, a new declaration. Every time you get paid, you are given a choice. Curse it or bless it. And what you bless multiplies. So from now on, when money enters your hand, no matter the amount, no matter the source, you say this. This is divine supply in motion. It multiplies now under grace. Say it until your mouth no longer knows how to curse your own provision. Say it until no paycheck ever feels small again. Say it until every cent begins to carry the echo of heaven. And lack, so long your companion, will finally pack its bags and flee. You may ask, if I've been speaking lack for years, how do I begin again? I tell you now, you begin not by effort, but by utterance. Not by changing everything externally, but by changing one thing internally, your response. Because in the spiritual economy, the way you receive determines the volume you receive. The mouth governs the flow. There is a sentence, a spiritual sentence, short in word but vast in power. It is not a mantra. It is not superstition. It is divine alignment spoken into the invisible. And this is it. Every payment I receive is divine supply in motion. This multiplies under grace, now. Say it with breath. Say it with boldness. Say it while looking at your hands, for those hands are no longer the hands of labor, but of increase. Say it aloud every time you get paid. Not some of the time, not when you feel like it, not just when the amount is large, but every time. Say it when your paycheck lands in your bank. Say it when someone hands you a tip. Say it when a refund appears. Say it when a bonus arrives. Say it even when the amount is smaller than you expected, especially then. Why? Because it's not about the money. It's about your energy in that moment. It's about the magnetic field you're creating around your wealth. That sentence is not just claiming what has arrived. It's commanding what must come next. It is putting the law of increase on notice. It is declaring to the invisible realms that this supply shall not sit stagnant. It shall move, multiply, and return again with more. You must speak it within 5 minutes of receiving. That is when the gate is still open. That is when the current is fresh. That is when your consciousness is most malleable. Do not delay. Do not save it for later. Say it now, while your hands still remember the receiving. And say it aloud, not in your head. The word must leave your lips, for it is written, "You shall also decree a thing, and it shall be established unto you." Job 22:28. A decree is not a thought, it is not a hope, it is a spoken act of spiritual jurisdiction. When you say this sentence, you are not just being positive. You are activating the law. You are sanctifying the transaction. You are converting a natural moment into a supernatural seed. You are telling the money in your hand, you are not here to linger, you are here to multiply. And when spoken consistently, this word begins to rewire your atmosphere. It changes how you see money, how you receive it, how you expect it. It shifts you from, "This isn't enough," to, "This is the beginning of overflow." Now hear me clearly. The multiplies under grace part is no accident. It is not force. It is not hustle. It is not anxious calculation, it is grace, the effortless, divine orchestration of right results with no strain. Grace does the multiplying. Your word merely opens the way. So say it. Say it every time. Say it like a priest receiving an offering. Say it like a king proclaiming his inheritance. Say it like someone who has finally remembered who they are. Because when you do, when you speak this with unwavering rhythm, you won't just keep money. You'll command money, you'll magnetize money, you'll multiply money. And lack won't just leave. It won't be able to find you again. The moment you speak the word, you are no longer a receiver, you are a ruler. But the reason many continue to experience financial constriction is because they have not yet assumed their true identity. They still believe they are beggars at the gate of supply, when in truth, they are gatekeepers of circulation itself. Let me be clear. You are not a worker trying to earn enough. You are not a budgeter juggling lack. You are not a struggler doing your best. You are a vessel of divine supply, a channel of perpetual motion, a priest of overflow. But until you assume this role, until you speak from this role, you will continue to filter wealth through the lens of fear and wonder why it leaks. Money responds to identity. If you believe you are barely getting by, your income will obey. If you believe you must chase every dollar, your income will keep running. But if you believe you are the appointed vessel through which God moves provision into this world, your income will locate you, honor you, and stay with you. You are the wealth gatekeeper. You decide what passes and what perishes. You decide what enters and what withers. You decide what multiplies and what halts. And all of it begins with the authority you carry in speech. Let me speak a truth that will set you free. The moment you get paid, you are not simply being compensated for labor. You are being acknowledged by the universe as a keeper of flow. But how you respond determines whether the flow continues or dries up. If you receive and say, "This isn't enough," you have dishonored the gate. If you receive and say, "Why is this so small?" you have insulted the current. If you receive and say, "This won't last," you have shut the door you prayed for. But if you say, "I am the gate of divine wealth. I receive not from man, but from source. I do not beg, I bless. I do not hustle, I harvest. Every dollar that enters my hand has a divine purpose, and I am fit to multiply it." Then you speak not as a struggler, but as a spiritual gatekeeper, and the law rushes to accommodate your new posture. Do you not yet realize? Every time you are paid, heaven is watching to see how you carry it. Will you lower your voice and diminish the moment? Or will you rise up and say, "I receive this as a sign that divine circulation is working through me now"? Identity is not something you wait for. It is something you declare. And the moment you begin speaking as one who holds the keys of overflow, the doors begin to obey. So from now on, speak this: I am the wealth gatekeeper. What enters my hands multiplies. What flows through me blesses others. What remains is more than enough. That is your mantle. That is your role. That is your appointment. You are not small. You are not desperate. You are not trying. You are the gate. You are the keeper. You are the one supply has been waiting for. It is not enough to speak the word only once. It must become the atmosphere around your finances, the rhythm that reconditions your relationship with money. The declaration must be practiced, not just proclaimed. So I will teach you now how to use it with every transaction, because every movement of money is a moment of spiritual opportunity. When your direct deposit arrives, do not just glance and move on. Do not sigh or scroll. Speak with full authority. Every payment I receive is divine supply in motion. This multiplies under grace now. Say it while the notification is still fresh. Say it before you spend a dime. Lay your hand on your phone, your heart, your wallet, and say it with breath, rhythm, certainty. When you are handed cash, even if it's $5, pause for a sacred second. Feel it, look at it, smile, and speak. This is evidence of divine circulation. This flows to me and through me, now multiplied. Do not rush the moment. Bless the moment. Hold the money with reverence. Treat it not as small, but as sacred. For how you receive the little determines whether the law will trust you with much. When you check your bank account, do not curse the number. Do not call it insufficient. Even if it is less than you desire, you must speak not to the amount, but to the law above the amount. Say, "This number is not my source. Divine supply is. This is the beginning of overflow." Do not speak according to what you see. Speak according to what is spiritually true. For we do not walk by sight, but by spiritual certainty. When you are about to spend, whether it's a bill, a coffee, a gift, do not release the money in fear. Most people spend with anxiety and then wonder why more does not return. But hear me. How you release money is just as important as how you receive it. Before you pay, whisper, "Money spent in love returns sevenfold." This circulation blesses the giver and the receiver. I spend in faith, and I harvest in overflow. Make it your ritual. Every transaction becomes transformation. Every movement becomes multiplication. Now I give you a simple practice. 1. Lay your hands on your wallet or bank card once a day. Do not do this out of superstition, but out of spiritual authority. Say, "You are full. You are flowing. You are never empty again. 2. Before opening your banking app, say aloud, I expect good news. I expect increase. I expect divine surprise. Train your body and mind to anticipate wealth, not fear it. 3. Before you withdraw money, say, this is not loss. This is circulation, and what I release returns multiplied. These are not empty phrases. They are energetic instructions to the law of supply. They are commands to your subconscious, invitations to angels, orders to the unseen. Money does not obey hustlers, it obeys priests, and every transaction is your altar. So from now on, speak over everything, over the coins, over the notes, over the alerts, over the checks, over the receipts. You are not just managing finances, you are commanding flow. Just as the right word opens doors, the wrong word slams them shut, and many, though sincere in prayer, cancel their miracles in conversation. They speak against the very abundance they beg for. They mix faith with fear, praise with panic, power with poison. So now I speak with love, but with fire. There are some phrases you must bury forever. Never say, this isn't enough. For in that moment, you instruct the universe to keep proving you right. Never say, it's already gone. For in that breath, you command the law of loss to act on your behalf. Never say, it disappears as fast as it comes. For by that declaration, you ordain every dollar to vanish. Never say, I can't afford that. For in that statement, you cut yourself off from the infinite. You may believe you're being realistic, but spiritual law does not honor realism. It honors resonance. It listens not to your facts, but to your frequency. And the fastest way to lower your frequency is to curse your own good. Do not joke about being broke. Do not mock your own provision. Do not casually reinforce scarcity with phrases meant to entertain. The law is always listening. Your money is always listening. Your field is always listening, and when you speak lack, even playfully, you are inviting it to stay. Instead, learn the sacred art of spiritual substitution. When your mind says, this won't be enough, immediately say aloud, divine supply is never limited. This multiplies now. When your thoughts spiral into, it's all going to bills, replace it with, even in circulation, my wealth grows and returns to me in full. When you are tempted to say, I can't afford it, instead declare, it is not a matter of cost, it is a matter of divine timing, and I am aligned with my good. This is the law of substitution in action. You must learn to replace fear speak with faith speak, and you must do it instantly, not later, not tomorrow. The moment the lie rises, the truth must answer. I will give you now a list of forbidden phrases and their replacements. I'm broke. I am rich in divine supply, and it finds me now. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money flows from infinite sources, seen and unseen. I never have enough. I always have more than enough, and it increases daily. I don't know where it will come from. I don't need to know the how. I know the law. I'll never catch up. I am divinely timed, and everything arrives right on schedule. You must be ruthless with your mouth. Guard it like a vault, because your mouth is not a passive instrument. It is the wand of manifestation, and every time you use it to describe lack, you are authoring a future of the same. Do not say these things in jest. Do not say them in anger. Do not say them at all. Let this be your new vow. I will never again speak against my own wealth. My words build it. My words bless it. My words command it. For every time you open your mouth, you are either prophesying expansion or predicting drought. Choose expansion. Now that you understand the law, and now that you've cleansed your mouth of every curse and contradiction, it is time to train your word into overflow. For faith is not built in theory, it is built in practice. So I give you now a challenge, not as a test of worthiness, but as a discipline of spiritual mastery. I call it the 3-day spoken overflow challenge. For the next 3 days, I want you to do the following every time you interact with money. Whether it's $1 or 10,000, whether it's given, received, spent, or saved, you will speak the word. You will declare, "Every payment I receive is divine supply in motion. This multiplies under grace now." And that is not all. You will also speak before spending. "What I give returns multiplied. I do not lose. I circulate and receive." You will bless your bank account. This account is a reservoir of divine increase. It is never empty again. You will bless your wallet, your purse, your card, your cash drawer. You will treat each moment of financial interaction as sacred, not as ordinary, but as a portal of power. And for these 3 days, you must remain vigilant. No backtracking, no cursing, no casual negativity. The moment you hear yourself complain, doubt, or fear, you will substitute the thought immediately with truth. Why 3 days? Because 3 is the number of resurrection. On the 3rd day, new life arises. On the 3rd day, a shift occurs. On the 3rd day, a pattern breaks. And I promise you this, if you do this with full spiritual intention, if you speak the word in the heat of habit, if you bless every penny that crosses your path, you will feel the shift before the 72 hours are over. You may see unexpected money arrive. You may get word of a new opportunity. You may feel your energy transform. You may notice old fears leave. You may find yourself expecting good like never before. But more than that, you will remember who you are. A priest of wealth, a steward of overflow, a master of circulation, a speaker of divine law. Let me give you your daily rhythm for the challenge. Morning, speak the overflow sentence aloud 3 times. Visualize your hands open, your field full, your gates wide. Midday, bless whatever transaction occurs. Whether a bill or a payment, a sale or a gift, bless it with your word. Evening, review your speech. Were there any lapses? Forgive them and affirm, "I cancel every idle word and replace it with truth." And if nothing financial happens that day, still speak. Speak as if it has. Because when you speak from the invisible, the visible rushes to match it. You may write these declarations on sticky notes. You may record them in your voice. You may walk with them in your spirit. But do not let the 3 days pass in silence. Make noise. Make rhythm, make faith real. Say it in the shower, say it in the car, say it in the moment you would normally panic. Let this be your vow. I speak only what I wish to multiply. I bless all money that touches me. I bless myself as the keeper of supply, and I expect to see results within 3 days. And you will, because the law is listening. The law never forgets. The law always fulfills what the faithful speak. Let me tell you now of a woman who walked in darkness, financial, emotional, and spiritual, and found her way to light by the power of one sentence, spoken in faith. Her name I will keep sacred, for this story is not about fame, but about the law. And the law knows no favorites. It responds to the faithful, not the fortunate. She was a teacher by profession, but in her spirit, she was still a beggar. She had grown accustomed to expecting just enough, to shrinking when payday arrived, to budgeting from fear. Every month the money came, and every month it left. She spoke as the world taught her to speak. That's it? Where did it all go? Back to zero. One day, tired and hungry for a new way, she stumbled upon a sentence. Just one. It said, "Every payment I receive is divine supply in motion. This multiplies under grace now." She laughed at first. Could it be that simple? Could a sentence shift an entire financial reality? She decided to try, and not try casually, try completely. With every check, every transaction, every moment her hands touched money, she spoke. She declared. She treated each dollar as divine. She stopped complaining. She stopped apologizing. She stopped shrinking. The first week, nothing seemed to happen. But she noticed something else. Her energy shifted. She no longer felt dread when she checked her balance. She no longer spoke fear when she paid her bills. Her nervousness began to fade. Her hope began to grow. Then came the second week. A colleague unexpectedly offered her a side tutoring opportunity, double her usual rate. She accepted and blessed the offer before responding. This is divine supply in motion. It multiplies under grace now. By the third week, she found herself speaking the word without effort. It had become her rhythm, her default, her truth. Then came the moment that proved the law. Her principal called her in. There had been an error in her pay structure, an underpayment that had gone unnoticed for months. She was due back pay, a retroactive deposit, and a permanent increase moving forward. When the new payment hit her account, it was nearly triple what she had received the previous month. She wept, not because of the money, but because of the confirmation. The law had heard, the word had worked, her identity had shifted, her field had changed, and the world could no longer withhold what heaven had already released. Now she speaks with joy. She teaches her students how to bless what they receive. She blesses every cent, every check, every coin, not because she is rich, but because she finally knows she was never poor. The money didn't make her feel safe. Her speech did. Her boldness did. Her faith did. And yours will too. Speak the word, not once, but always. Not sometimes, but every time. Not with doubt, but with rhythm. Because once the law sees that you can speak abundance in the middle of appearance, it will give you appearance to match your abundance. There is a sacred moment in every 24-hour cycle when heaven listens with heightened attention, midnight. It is not a superstitious hour, but a symbolic threshold. Midnight is when one day dies and another is born. It is the invisible hinge between what was and what will be. And if you will train your tongue to speak at this hour, not to complain but to command, you will walk out of the house of lack and into the mansion of divine supply. At midnight, the world is quiet, fear is half asleep, the mind is soft, and the soul is open. This is when your word can drop like seed into the fertile soil of spirit, unhindered by noise or resistance. It is the moment the veil is thinnest, and what you say is heard, echoed, and performed by divine law. So I give you now a ritual, not of religion, but of resonance. Stand at midnight, yes, stand, upright, awake, present. Lay your hands on your heart and your wallet. Open your palms as if receiving something unseen. And speak this word. I declare this body to be a magnet for divine wealth. I am no longer limited by the world. I am sourced by spirit. I call every blocked flow to open. I command every debt to dissolve. I bless every dollar I've ever received. I speak abundance over every form of income. I expect new supply before morning. I declare that wealth is not coming. It is here. I am ready. I am worthy. I am aligned. In the name of divine law, it is done. Say it 3 times. Say it like thunder. Say it like prophecy. Say it like someone who finally refuses to live another day under the illusion of lack. You may not feel different after the first time. That is fine. Say it again. You may not see change by dawn. That is fine. Say it again. Because the law is not emotional. The law is consistent. And what you declare consistently, midnight after midnight, becomes your morning reality. This practice is not for the faint of heart. It is for the bold, for those who no longer beg but build, for those who no longer fear but frame their world with the word. I have seen doors open within hours of this practice. I have seen money arrive with no logical source. I have seen fear lift like smoke and joy rush in like sunrise. Because when you speak at midnight, you are not just speaking into the air. You are speaking into the seed of the next day. You are planting wealth in the dark so that by morning it can sprout. So I challenge you, do this for 3 midnights. Don't break the chain. Don't explain it away. Just declare. And after the 3rd night, listen, watch, expect. You will feel it, a shift, a sign, a crack in the wall of old belief, and from that crack, your new life will pour through. Now that the word has been spoken, now that the law has been taught, now that your mouth has been trained and your midnight has been claimed, I speak to your soul one final time, and I say this with the fire of heaven. If you say it every time, it will never run out. Do not ask how. Do not look around for signs before speaking. The sign is your voice. The miracle is your word. The wealth begins the moment you stop narrating lack and start declaring truth. You have walked long enough in cycles of fear. You have danced with just enough. You have shaken hands with almost. But I tell you today, you are not the child of chance. You are the child of law. And what you say when said in alignment with truth becomes flesh. If every time you get paid you declare, "This is divine supply in motion. It multiplies under grace now." If every time you spend, you say, "What I release returns sevenfold. I am blessed in giving and receiving." If every time doubt creeps in, you answer with, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want." If every time you look at your finances, you breathe out, "This is not my limit, this is my launch," then you will rise above the statistics, above the economy, above the news, the budget, the spreadsheet. You will not just have money, you will command money. And more importantly, money will obey. It will seek you, it will stay with you, it will return to you with friends, it will serve your divine assignment. It will no longer be your master, it will be your tool. But hear me, this is not about greed, this is not about vanity, this is about vibration. This is about alignment with divine abundance. This is about proving once and for all that heaven lacks nothing, and neither do you. You do not speak this word to manipulate the universe. You speak it to agree with it, to come into resonance with its generosity, to be as rich in faith as you are in inheritance. From now on, your money is not silent, it echoes. Your wallet is not empty, it testifies. Your transactions are not mundane. They are miraculous, because you have remembered your role. You are the speaker of supply, the channel of increase, the steward of overflow. And every time you get paid, you will not curse the amount, you will consecrate it. You will say, "This is the visible sign of invisible wealth. It is sacred, it is multiplying, it is mine by divine right." And you will never see money the same again. So I leave you with this. Say it every time. Declare it before emotion interferes. Proclaim it when you don't feel like it. Announce it when the numbers say otherwise. Speak it at the peak. Speak it in the valley. Speak it with no reason other than it is true. And the law will do what it always does. It will bring to pass what your mouth has made room for. Your days of lack are over. Because your word has gone before you. Because the gate has been opened. Because you have finally remembered. I am the wealth of God in expression. It is done. Speak again. Now, beloved soul, I give you a sequence to speak, not once, but as a rhythm, as a drumbeat, as the final vibration that seals this message in the marrow of your being. You have heard the law, you have heard the truth, but it is the spoken word that activates it. Say these aloud with me now. Do not whisper, do not rush. Let your voice become the staff that parts the sea. Let your breath carry the codes of heaven. Repeat after me. Every time I get paid, I declare my wealth expands. Every dollar I receive is divine energy, blessed, increasing, and returning. My wallet is never empty again. My bank account overflows. I do not chase money. I magnetize it. I speak life into every transaction. I bless what enters and exits. I do not spend in fear, I circulate in faith. My words are wealth, my declarations are deposits. I am the open gate of divine supply. I am the steward of overflow. I am the priest of provision. I am not trying, I am commanding. Every payment is proof that I am trusted with more. Now declare this final word 3 times, with your whole soul. Every time I get paid, I get multiplied. Every time I get paid, I get multiplied. Every time I get paid, I get multiplied. Let it be done. Let it be sealed. Let it be performed. The angels have heard. The field has shifted. The law is already working. Go now and speak every time you receive, and you will never lack again, not because of the amount, but because you finally learned to bless it. Your tongue is your treasury. Your word is your wealth. Say it every time, and it will never run out. Amen. If this word has touched you, if something inside you stirred when you spoke, if a door opened in your spirit, If your mind has been rewired to expect more, I invite you now, not to scroll away, but to return. Return to this channel. Return to this voice. Return to the law. Let this space be your sanctuary of truth. Let this be the temple where your wealth consciousness is restored again and again. If your spirit was fed, if your identity was awakened, if the declarations stirred something ancient and divine within you, then subscribe, not as a habit, but as a covenant. Comment below and speak your word aloud. Write it for the world to see. Speak it so others may agree with you in faith. Say in the comments, I speak only what I wish to multiply. Lack has no law over me. I am the steward of divine supply. Speak it boldly, speak it clearly, and know this, as you do, your word begins working immediately. I will be here, every day, every week, lifting the veil, breaking the spell, and reminding you who you are, a spiritual giant clothed in form, commanding wealth with every syllable. So return often, speak daily, and let every video be a new declaration of who you've now become. Until next time, walk in the word, live in the law, multiply everything with your mouth. It is done.